Hello guys, welcome to my 10. So in this video we are going to discuss about the imaging of the biliary tract and also we'll look at the clinicals of the gallbladder. If you haven't watched our video on the anatomy of the liver and extrahepatic biliary apparatus, please make sure to watch those videos. So coming to imaging of the biliary tract, firstly we will be discussing about the cholecystography. Cholecystography. So what is cholecystography? Generally the gallbladder is not opaque to X-rays. So when the X-rays will pass through, the gallbladder is not opaque. That is, it can't be seen due to X-ray imaging. But the radio opaque dyes are given by either mouth or intravenous injection. So they are excreted by the liver from the blood, and then they reach the bile, and then they reach the gallbladder. So as they reach the gallbladder will concentrate the radio opaque dye, and then the radio opaque dye will present as the X-ray imaging. So this is known as the cholecystography. The radio opaque, what you have to remember is the radio opaque dye is given either through mouth or also the intravenous injections. It is then concentrated in the gallbladder, which is seen in the radio imaging by the X-ray. So this is about the cholecystography. Now let's discuss about the ultrasound. So the ultrasonography is a non-invasive technique, right? So it's a non-invasive imaging technique to visualize the gallbladder. So and other components of the biliary system. So this technique has largely replaced the cholecystography. Instead of cholecystography, we go for the ultrasound of the gallbladder. Finally, we will be discussing about something called as the ERCP. So what is ERCP? Endoscopic retrograde cholangiopancreatography. So what is ERCP? Endoscopic retrograde cholangiopancreatography. So in this technique, under the direct vision through the fiber optic endoscope, under direct vision of the fiber optic endoscope is used. So under direct vision of the fiber optic endoscope, a catheter is inserted into the hepatopancreatic ampulla. A catheter is inserted into the hepatopancreatic ampulla, and then the radio opaque contrast medium is injected into the bile, and then the pancreatic ducts are visualized. So if this ERCP fails, the biliary tract is visualized by another radiological technique, and that is called as the PTHC. PTHC is nothing but as percutaneous transhepatic cholangiography. It is known as the percutaneous transhepatic cholangiography. If ERCP fails, we use the percutaneous transhepatic cholangiography. So this is about the imaging of the biliary tract. Now we will discuss about the clinicals of the gallbladder. So coming to the clinical significance of the gallbladder. Firstly, we will be discussing about the cholecystitis. So what is cholecystitis? Cholecystitis is nothing but as the inflammation of gallbladder. So cholecystitis is the inflammation of the gallbladder. So this cholecystitis, it may be either acute or it may be chronic. Firstly, we will be discussing about the acute cholecystitis. It occurs mainly in the adult women. It will occur. So it may be characterized by sudden pain in the hypochondrium, which is referred to the inferior angle of the right scapula. This we have discussed in the anatomy of the gallbladder about the referred pain of the gallbladder. So generally it will occur in the adult woman, and it is characterized by sudden pain in the hypochondrium, referred to the inferior angle of the right scapula, or also it may refer to the tip of the right shoulder. So the inferior angle of the scapula is due to the phrenic nerve, and also the tip of shoulder is due to the specific dermatome T7 to T9, which is supplying. So also it may be presented with the vomiting also. vomiting also it may present with. And also we have the something called as the positive Murphy's sign. Positive Murphy's sign. So what is positive Murphy's sign? If the finger is pressed under the right costal margin at the tip of the ninth costal cartilage, at the tip of the ninth costal cartilage, if a finger is pressed, so when the patient is asked to take a deep breath, he or she will feel the sharp pain. After pressing the finger, if you ask the patient to take a deep inspiration, he or she will feel the sharp pain, and then she will catch a breath. So that is the due to the gallbladder will meet the examining finger. When the gallbladder meets the examining finger, so she will feel the sharp pain, and also she will take a breath. So the symptoms of the cholecystitis are aggravated on taking fatty meals. On taking fatty meals, the symptoms of the cholecystitis will be aggravated, because as the fatty contents will reach the duodenum will secrete a hormone called as the CCK, cholecystokinin pancreosamine, and this will stimulate the contraction of the gallbladder to release the bile contents. And the contraction of the gallbladder, as the gallbladder is already inflamed, this will lead to severe pain. So this is about the acute cholecystitis. Coming to chronic cholecystitis, it is mainly due to cholelithiasis. Cholelithiasis, nothing but as the gallstones. So the gallstones will cause the chronic cholecystitis. It commonly occurs due to increased fat content, or in the fertile woman, or also flatulence. If there is more flatulence in the abdomen, it mainly occurs in the females and also people above 40. So these are the 5F known as the people above 40, generally in females, if it contains flatulence in the abdomen, fertile woman, and also eating large content of fatty food, that will cause the chronic cystitis. Now we will discuss about the referred pain of the gallbladder. So coming to the referred pain of gallbladder. So in acute cholecystitis, the inflammation of the gallbladder will cause irritation of the subdiaphragmatic parietal peritoneum. It will cause irritation of the subdiaphragmatic peritoneum. So which is supplied by the phrenic nerve. It is supplied by the phrenic nerve, right? Phrenic nerve comes from the C3, C4 and C5 cervical spinal segments. So this may lead to referred pain over the tip of the right shoulder. Because it is supplied by the supraclavicular nerves, and they also come from the C3 and the C4 spinal segments. So that will refer to the referred pain of the gallbladder. Now coming to obstruction of the common bile duct. So the obstruction of common bile duct is usually due to gallstones. There is obstruction of the common bile duct, and also it may be due to the pancreatic carcinoma, or it may be due to the enlarged neoplastic hepatic lymph nodes. It may be due to pancreatic carcinoma, or also due to neoplastic hepatic lymph nodes. So it causes obstruction to the bile flow, which may lead to jaundice. I'll tell you something called as the Courvoisier's law. So what is Courvoisier's law? This law states that the obstructive jaundice with distended and palpable gallbladder. So the person has the obstructive jaundice, and then if the gallbladder is distended or it is palpable, then it is most likely due to extrinsic obstruction. It is due to extrinsic obstruction of the common bile duct, which may be due to carcinoma of the head of the pancreas. On the contrary, if the obstructive jaundice is with the non-distended and non-palpable gallbladder, then it is due to intrinsic factors, intrinsic obstruction of the common bile duct, which may be due to the presence of the gallstones. So in this case, if the previous cholecystitis will make the gallbladder fibrotic and contracted. By the gallstones, it will make the gallbladder fibrotic and contracted. So this leads to obstruction of the common bile duct. So this is about the clinical anatomy of the gallbladder. If you like the video, make sure to subscribe and hit the like button, and also share it to your other friends who might find anatomy difficult. Please ensure that you watch all our playlists and other anatomy videos, and also like it and comment down below about anything significant. Thank you so much.